Hello there, you're on the Heart of Reddit channel. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Get your popcorn ready and enjoy. No coffee for you. During the post-9/11 recession, I was working for a very big corporation. You've heard of them, and you've probably been a customer at some point. On an upper floor of a skyscraper in downtown Chicago, this company was seeking to pinch pennies any way they could. One of these methods was to set the thermostat to 78 degrees in the summer, which had us all sweating at our desks, and also watching the clocks, because 5:01 p.m. meant we could flee to somewhere that had air conditioning. Later that year they sent out another memo. Coffee would no longer be provided by the company. Before this, we'd had coffee service in the break rooms, nothing fancy. Just pre-portioned foil packets of Folgers or Maxwell House, and those diner-style drip coffee makers, where the glass pots sit on the hot plates for hours until someone decides it's nasty and dumps it. But those would now be removed. We were also forbidden to have coffee makers at our desks, because fire safety. So what else was there to do but go to Starbucks? This meant leaving the building via the elevators, walking a block or so, standing in line, paying for $5 for something that used to be free. There was much grumbling at that. Walking back to our building, buzzing in at the security desk, taking the elevators back, usually about a 20-minute process. More, if the line was long. I'm a programmer. A programmer's time is worth at least $100 an hour. Once you factor in things like benefits, office floor space, equipment, and all the other overhead. Almost my entire department did this. We'd often leave the floor in groups to get our hot bean water, without which it's generally impossible to function in the afternoons, which means the company was screwing themselves out of about $200 of productivity lost per day for my team alone, to save themselves about $3 of cheap-ass ground coffee and 25 cents worth of electricity to heat it. Must have these documents today. Okay. Back in the day, I had an employee who attempted to shake us down for a settlement after being dismissed. Part of the process was an exchange of documents. I'd identified about 2,000 pages of emails, etc., which I zipped up and stuck on our web server for their lawyers to download. They claimed that they'd not downloaded the archive, so I sent them the line from the web server log showing that they had. Then they claimed that they couldn't open it, and started kicking up a fuss because we were at the deadline for delivery, saying that they'd apply for sanctions, demanding a same-day courier, etc. It's all part of the process. They're looking for a nuisance value settlement, and the more nuisance they can cause, the more likely they are to get one. I'd written an internet fax service, so I figured I'd soak test it. I faxed them the 2,000 pages, split over 600-700 individual fax calls, some of which were repeats owing to reception errors. It took the best part of 24 hours. Total cost of the calls at a wholesale level was under $10. They fired my ex-employee as a client shortly afterwards. Want to harass my grandmother? Enjoy paying for your box of ashes. So, about 5 years ago, there was a wildfire in my area. It was pretty devastating and almost everyone in my community lost their homes, including my grandmother. She had lost her husband of almost 40 years earlier in the year, and now her home that he built was burned to the ground. My family and I had just had our house built, and the lack of grass from the foundation saved everything except for our wooden porch. So she came to live with us when it was deemed safe to return. She called to have all her TV, phone services canceled about a week after the fires, and ended up getting choked up on the phone. She was an emotional mess, but she's a strong person and managed to handle the call. About a week after the call, she receives a letter demanding that she mail the TV equipment in or she would be charged for replacement for all of it. She called and explained that the equipment was gone, that it had burned along with her home. I could hear the CSR getting substantially louder while explaining, again, that it all needed to be mailed back. Once again, my grandmother is getting frustrated and emotional, and the CSR is getting louder, ruder. They called twice more over the span of a week. I answered the phone and asked for them to send me the box and mailing labels, as we would not be paying for shipping, and the lady agreed. So, what did I do? When I received the box, I scooped up ashes and bits of burnt wires from my grandmother's home site, boxed it up, and shipped it to them on their dime. Then I called and filed a complaint about the calls placed to my grandmother, which I was assured would be followed up with, and never heard from them again. I do feel bad for whoever had to open it, but it seemed appropriate at the time and got the point across.